Welcome to FitBody Lifestyle, the show where we dive deep into the world of fitness, health, business, relationships, and the art of living a balanced life. I'm Jami.
And I'm Greg, and we're here to give you the benefit of our experiences in the fitness and bodybuilding industry, the corporate world, running a business, personal development, and building healthy relationships.
Whether you're sweating it out in the gym, hustling in your business, or seeking balance in your everyday life, you're in the right place.
So lace up those sneakers and grab that water bottle, and let's get ready to transform our minds, our bodies, and our lives. Hey everybody, welcome to another installment of FitBody Lifestyle and our fusion hack for today. And I'm joined here by my lovely wife who's laughing at me because I went fusion hack. And I don't blame her because that was weird. I'm weird today. I'm just weird.
I love it. I love when you're weird.
Fusion hack. Okay. So today we talked previously about check-ins and taking pictures for those and some of the feedback for those. But we thought we'd maybe just give everybody a little quick fusion hack today, focusing on those primary elements that go into a check-in. So we'll start out by saying that, the best check-ins are when you are sharing the information relevant to your week, what happened to you, what affected you, how you were. More detail is usually better than less detail, especially as it relates to your success or your challenges for that week. There are some people that are very descriptive, some people that just give us, single word answers or something. And some people give us measurements like a number, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I was a 9 on this, but without any context to it. So the 9 doesn't have any real meaning as much as it would if it was explained. So what we thought we'd do today in this fusion hack is really kind of talk about the primary elements to make sure that you are including in every feedback.
Yeah, and I'll start by saying, if you're in doubt, just put it in there. Yeah. I mean, as coaches, we can weed through the information that isn't necessarily relevant versus what is. So I'd always rather a little bit too much information than too little information. So we're just going to kind of quickly go through some of the main points of the things that you want to make sure to talk about. It's really important to talk about where your level of hunger is. This a lot of times people are like, I'm fine. This is not really. This isn't for that purpose. It's for us to gauge where your metabolism is. So a lot of times we're wanting to know, if you're, chomping at the bit, hungry all the time, usually that's going to follow a good, nice drop, So if you've been hungry all week, but you haven't dropped, usually that's going to tell us, yeah, maybe it's coming soon. So just giving a better understanding of, where your appetite is. And then kind of related to that, on the opposite end is digestion, if you're feeling constipated, bloated, diarrhea, it's actually interesting. Just really quick thing that happened this week is one of my athletes had said, she was having some diarrhea going on, and sometimes people won't share something like that or they'll be embarrassed, but, I ended up going through her food log and realizing she was eating Orange Roughy for every meal, which has been shown to cause that. So it was an easy fix to make sure that, that wasn't going on show day. So if she not communicated, we may not have realized it, and it may have been an issue on show day, which wouldn't have been good. So, that's just a really good example. So anything that's going on, hunger, digestion, like in that vein, you definitely want to communicate.
Yeah, and let's talk about the next thing, which is sleep. Sleep is kind of at the cornerstone of everything. When your sleep is compromised, most everything else in your check-in is going to be compromised. Sleep and digestion; these are the kind of the cornerstone elements, is what I would say, are the long poles in the tent. What was affecting your sleep? Was it episodic, meaning something happened that week, you were stressed that week, or maybe, you drank caffeine late at night or something, but give that context to that sleep, because sleep really is the cornerstone of what's going to impact all of these other measures that we're talking.
Absolutely, for recovery, so important. One of the things that is really crucial is please be honest. If there was any kind of diversion from your plan, as coaches, we need to know that. And, hopefully your coach isn't somebody who's going to, beat up on you. We certainly don't. It's just we need the information in order to make the proper decisions for you going forward to get you back on track. And a lot of times we are able to give, some advice that might help you not slip up next time.
We can't speak for every coach, but what we can tell you is that deviations really become a cornerstone aspect of your feedback. And we don't want to see those to shame you, to say, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. We want to see those because if you are struggling with something, maybe we can help. I just saw a check-in from somebody who's struggling with hunger urges, and there's a few things that you can do to help with that. Whether it's drinking water, whether it's meditating, whether it's taking a walk, when you see that when you feel that hunger urge, there are things that you can do, but if you don't disclose it, we can't help with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then the next thing I would say is really mental state. If you've been super stressed throughout the week, that's going to affect cortisol levels. It could affect your weigh-in. It could affect how your body's looking. So we want to make sure that we are understanding, if there's additional stressors going on, and then maybe we can help with something that's going to help manage that. And in some cases, we may pull back on cardio, or we may adjust workouts. We have to remember that stress is on every level, mind, body, and that kind of thing. So it's like if we're just beating up on our bodies, and then we also have a lot of extra stressors in our lives, a lot of times we're going to just get really inflamed and we're going to be swimming upstream. So that's an important factor as well.
Hormonal is a really important factor. And I say this hormonal, I think the focus here is probably on women and their cycle and how that impacts. And we definitely see that. It's funny how you'll have an athlete who will be reporting, my digestion is off this week, my sleep is off this week, and I'm craving things and my energy is low. And they won't necessarily connect that with a cycle. And then 3 days later, their cycle appears. Or it could be a ghost period where you're having the symptoms but not the bleed. And that can affect you. I also think as men, we need to tie in a little bit more to our hormonal impact as well, because we don't have a cycle, obviously, but we do have periods where we might be more emotional than we were the week before. And if we are, maybe our estrogen is running higher. There's a lot of things that can affect you hormonally. Maybe it may show up in mental state, but I do think this is not just something exclusive to women.
Right. Well, and the other thing I'm going to add to that kind of fits into the hormonal, but it's also a generalized comment, is any medications. So that could be birth control. It could be, psychological antidepressant sorts of things. I know sometimes people don't think to mention, or even if maybe they got an infection and they had to take antibiotics, right. or they might even put them on something like prednisone, which is a hormone as well. It's gonna, that's gonna affect cortisol levels. So all these things are important. So again, when in doubt, it's better to just list it, and make sure your coach knows what's going on.
Whenever you say when in doubt, it always takes me back to airborne school and the deployment of your reserve chute, and the phrase or the saying there was, when in doubt, whip it out. So if you don't know that your main chute opened, pull that reserve, because the only thing that's going to happen is your reserve is going to go out. But when in doubt, whip it out. So I would say that applies to your feedback and a check-in as well. Yeah. Thanks for thanks for laughing at that.
That was a good one. Okay. That was a good one.
Hunger is an important piece of feedback to include.
We
did talk about
yes,
hunger.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And so then the only other thing I wanted to mention, because we're kind of doing a condensed version here, because like main points you want to hit on. The other thing though I did want to say is, if you have questions, please ask them. I can't tell you how many times somebody will ask a question and it might spur a whole conversation on something that, brings a ton of value to both myself and the athlete. Maybe I learned something about the athlete through this, or right, or I'm able to help them better understand why we're doing something, or maybe they weren't doing something correctly and they thought they were, but they asked the question. We were able to correct that. I mean, I've seen sometimes things go months where the person didn't ask a question, they didn't want to bother me or whatever, and then they were doing it incorrectly. So whether it's about an exercise or something you're doing with your food or supplementation, like, really, if you don't understand something your coach is giving you, then, ask the question. And if your coach isn't willing to answer your questions, then that's a whole nother topic. But, please do. Like, I really value that when people are willing to be open and share with me what's going on, and then ask the questions. Let me help them better understand so that they're able to execute fully on what our plan is.
I'm really glad you added that. And I will tell you, just my experience in the military, my experience in the corporate world, and my experience here in this bodybuilding world is that we love athletes who do what you tell them to do. But there is a difference between adhering to a plan and understanding the plan. You need to have both. You need to adhere to the plan and you need to understand the why you're doing something. And then you also need to communicate before you make changes, because just the same way that you're doing a check-in, if you start making changes on your own without your coach's involvement, then you're doing things that your coach may not be aligned with, and there may be a reason why you're doing what you now are changing. And that lends to that Q aspect of ask the question. But the science on this, and don't quote me on the numbers, but it's like 30-something% higher level of engagement when you understand the why. And engagement just simply means that, okay, I know what I'm doing and I know why I'm doing it. And so if you think, okay, I can increase that I can increase my understanding of that by 30% just by understanding why I'm doing something, then ask the question, because the question has the value to it.
Right. Well, I mean, I've had people ask me questions and then come to find out, something got messed up in their settings somewhere in MyFitnessPal or in the training app or something like that. So again, there's things that we may not have caught without the question. So I really, really appreciate athletes that ask questions and that provide us lots of information on all of these things that we just mentioned. So hopefully this was helpful for people and, might spur them to share something they weren't already sharing with their coach.
That's our goal. And I know you told me not to do an acronym, but I'm going to do an acronym. Okay. So it's SHEDSHMDQ. Okay. SHED, SHED, and it's sleep, hunger, energy, digestion, strength, hormonal, mental state, deviations, and that last one, Q for questions. So SHEDSHMDQ. Okay, I know it's a lot. It's a big acronym, but hopefully you can go back and.
I think he did it just because I said not to.
I did it because that neuro-linguistic program. You tell me not to do something, I'm probably going to do it. So
he's a rebel without a cause.
That's it too. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, leave your comments, and remember, be good to yourself.
Be good to each other.
Be good to your wife.
Definitely.
And be safe. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to FitBody Lifestyle. We hope today's episode has left you feeling motivated and equipped to tackle your fitness goals, business challenges, and the daily dance of life. Remember to value progress over perfection. Life's tough enough alone. Find the chosen family around you to help you along the way.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite streaming platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FitBodyFusion.